This is a big one that I do need to talk to you about, knowing what the slope is for both of these. So, yes, I skipped this part just for now. But number one says circle the slope. And then now, what is the perpendicular slope to this line? So what is the slope right now for this line? Is it frozen still? Sorry. What is the slope right now for this one? Slope, you should be able to see it. Slope is right there, 2. No tricks about it. The slope is right in front of the parentheses for point slope form. So if the slope is 2 right now, how do you make it perpendicular? Over on the wall over there, perpendicular lines in bright pink, it says 2 changes. Opposite reciprocal. Opposite means if this slope is positive, your perpendicular slope has to be negative. And how do you flip a 2? You don't know? It's 2 over 1 right now. Flip it. Make it 1 over 2. That would be my perpendicular slope. This one right here says, what is the slope of a line that's parallel to this one? We can't see the slope on this one because the y is not all the way by itself. So this is not all the way in slope-intercept form. But notice they moved the x over here for you. So it kind of was in standard form before they already moved the x. So how do you get the y by itself? Divide everything. There's going to be one like this on your test to where all you need to do is divide by what's with the y because the x is already over here. So this is going to leave you with y equals 2 divided by 7 is not going to reduce. So we got 2 over 7x. 21 over 7 is a positive 3. So now that I can see my slope, what's the slope that's parallel to this one? The same exact slope. Thank you. All right. So I just wanted to make sure y'all got that one. I'm just going to give you the answer for both of these so you can see if you can get to that answer. So this one is x equals negative 0.5. It's like 5555556, so negative 0.56. This one is x equals negative 22. This one should have been an easy one. So I'm going to give you the answers now so you can see if you can get to them. So if you're watching from home, you might want to pause your video because I'm about to go over these answers. You should probably try them before you just watch me do them. Okay, so draw the line on the equal sign. Notice the x's are on the same side. When they're already on the same side, you just need to add them together. This is a negative 6 plus 4. Do not put the x's in here with that. I had people doing that this morning, even though I kept saying don't do it. Now that the x's are together, these ones are the constants. There's only one constant term over here, so we're going to divide by what's with the x. So x equals 44 divided by negative 2 is negative 22, our answer. Over here, you'll notice there are parentheses. You're going to see quite a few of them tomorrow that have the parentheses. The parentheses mean we need to be multiplying. Negative 2 times 1, x. That's negative 2x. Then negative 2 times a negative 4 is a positive 8. This 3 will just stay right there. It's not in the parentheses, so do not try to do anything. Just bring it down. This is 7 times 1x, which is 7x. Then 7 times 1 is 7. And then the plus 9 will just stay there. Now this is different because the x's are on opposite sides. So you cannot just add them because they're on opposite sides. You have to do the opposite to bring your x's to the left. Now I can add it. This is negative 2 plus negative 7. And you should get negative 9x. Now these two both do not have x's. They're on the same side. Add them. 8 plus 3, 11. These two do not have x's. They're on the same side. Add them. That's 16. Question? No? Okay. And now that I have my x's all together, I need to get the constants all together. And I want all the constants over here. The constants do not have x's. If I want this positive 11 over here, I need to make it a negative 11 over here. Now I can add. So this will be negative 9x. This will be 5. Divide. The number that has the x with it will go to the bottom. So that's x equals, if you divide 5 divided by negative 9, that's where you get the 0.55556, which is the answer that I showed you. All right, I'm going to stay on the front page. I know I'm skipping around a little bit. Just follow along. I'm going to go back to these 3. This just wants you to describe how you would solve each one-step equation. It doesn't actually want you to solve it. It just wants you to describe. So what's happening over here is it's getting divided right now. What's the opposite of divide? Is you need to multiply by the denominator, which is 15. All right? So if you see a fraction, that means division is going on. So you need to do the opposite of divide, which is multiply. Here, what's happening here? This is either a subtract 5 or you can call it a negative 5. But if you see that it's getting subtracted, what's the opposite? You add 5. Because solving is about doing the opposite. And yes, you add 5 to both sides. This one right here, a lot of people don't know, but this negative 6x is getting multiplied. There's an invisible multiplication sign happening right now. That's why we do the opposite, which is divide by negative 6. Because when you divide, you keep the same sign. All right. Any questions about that? Hopefully you're just kind of checking over your work because you've done this already. These ones up here, when solving an equation, remember how sometimes the x's cancel? You end up with a true statement. If it's true, the solution is infinite many solutions, which is this one right here. Oops, sorry. Infinite many solutions. Perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal. That's also on the board, so you can use it during the test. So it can help you remember. Opposite means if one is positive, the other is negative. Reciprocal means to flip the fraction. Now, when you're solving an equation, remember when the x's cancel and you end up with a false statement, this is false, that's when it's no solution, because they're not equal. And two lines that are, this is on the board too, parallel lines have same slope. All right? All right. Now this is the back of the worksheet. Even though it says name, date, and period, it is the second page. This one right here gives you the solution again, so I would like you to try it first. And yes, don't let the decimals fool you. Yes, you will see that on the test. Just take your decimal in the front and multiply it times both numbers on the inside. That's 0.5 times 10. Do not put the x when you're multiplying that. That gives me 5. You have to remember to keep the x. Then 0.5 times a negative 4, because remember the subtract means it's negative. That's a negative 2, equals 0.3 times 10, which is 3. Don't forget the x. 0.3 times 14 is a positive 4.2. Remember, look at the x's. I hope you did not get 8. If the x's were already on the same side, you would get 8, but they're not. Since they're not on the same side, you need to do the opposite, which means now I can add them. Because I took the 3 off, I made it a negative 3. Always bring your x's to the left. It will help you in the long run. So add that up, you get 2x. Bring down what you have not used, negative 2 and 4.2. So I want to get my x's on the left, and I want to get the constants to the right. So if it does not have an x, let's move it to the right side by doing the opposite. So this is 2x equals 4.2 plus 2. That's 6.2. Now divide by what's with the x. Divided by 2. And that's how I get the 3.1. Any questions? This is another one that should be easy, but the x's or the f's are on the same side. So you can just do that. That's 3 plus a negative 10. That's negative 7f equals 90. We're at the last step. Just divide by what's with the letter, what's with the variable. So 90 divided by negative 7, negative 12.86. Now, once we're going back to parallel and perpendicular, Ms. Swanson identified the parallel slope of the equation to be 13. Is she correct? So what's the slope of this one? 13. So parallel lines have same exact slope. So she's right. She is right. We don't need to explain because she is right. The slopes have to be exactly the same if they're parallel. Coach Coward identified the perpendicular slope of the equation below to be this. So we have our slope. Remember, yes, the slope is right in front of the parentheses. And she thinks the perpendicular one is this one. Is she right? What did she forget? She did flip it, which is good, but she forgot to change the sign. Yes. She forgot to change the negative to a positive. So she forgot to change the sign. Because this one was negative, which means the perpendicular had to be a positive 9/2. Number 7, once again, you're going to try it yourself. I'm not going to do this one with you. You're going to try it yourself. Because I give you the answer in decimal and fraction form. I want to explain number 8. Number 8, it says find the slope of each function, then find the parallel slope and perpendicular slope. This one here, what's the slope? Can you see it? Is it 6? No. It's not 6 until the y is all the way by itself. So how do I get the 2 away from the y? Divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. Which means the slope is really, what's 6/2? Or 6 divided by 2? Yeah, so the slope right now is 3. So what's the parallel slope? Same slope, 3. Perpendicular means 2 changes.
1 over
Negative, good. 1/3. Or 1 over -3. Just make sure there's only one negative symbol and you'll be fine. For the second one, what's the slope? Yes, you guys need to be careful because they kind of switched it on you. The slope is the number that has the x with it. So the slope right now is -8. The parallel slope would be exactly the same. Perpendicular
1 over 8.
is now a positive, and if this is 8 with a 1 on the bottom, put the 1 on top, 8 on the bottom. Thank you. So go through these and finish these up yourself, because I'm just going to post the answers in just a second. So if you're watching the video from home, pause it, try it yourself. Okay, I'm going to explain it. So this one, once again, it's not in standard form because they already moved the x over. So you just got to get rid of this 14 on the y. Divide by 14, divide by 14. The y-intercept I don't really care about. I care mostly about the slope. So what's the slope for this one? Thank you. Yes, 7 on top, 14 on the bottom. If I want perpendicular, I must change it from positive to negative and flip, which would be a 2. All right. Then the rest is pretty easy to see the slope. The slope right now is right here. The slope right now is right here. The slope is right here. There's no changes because the y is by itself. There's no changes because it's in point slope form. All right. Have a great day.